Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. So see what we have done yesterday in economics. Which topic we have covered in yesterday's class? Steve, please tell me. No? You were present in the last class. You have attended the last class, no? Steve. Steve, please tell me what topic we have covered yesterday. Steve. Already, just tell me whether you have attended the first class, the last class or not.
No,
Steve, what's wrong?
not economics session.
In yeah, in the last economic session, what we have covered, which topics we have done in the last class.
Sir, I was not present in yesterday's economics class.
Sorry,
I was not present in economics class, sir.
you were not present in the economics class.
Yeah, I was in accounting.
Okay then. All right. So meanwhile, anyone else join? So let's first recall everything. Then we will proceed further, so that you can also cover the topics that you have missed. All right. So we will first of all revise everything before proceeding further in this chapter. So we have started our discussion with the meaning of market, right? So what is market? Market is a mechanism, or it is an arrangement through which buyer and seller interact with each other. Buyer and seller connect with each other with a view to purchase goods and services, right? And after this, we have covered few characteristics of the market, few essential characteristics of the market, which are as follows. Number one, there should be some area, but area does not mean that there should be some physical area, but area, by area we mean that there should be some medium through which buyer and seller can connect with each other.
Yes, sir.
After this, we have understood that there should be at least one buyer and one seller, right? There should be at least one buyer and one seller, because without the buyer and seller, market cannot exist. Therefore, it is an assumption that there must be at least one buyer, at least one seller in the market. Now, after this, we have also covered that there should be some commodity. Seller must be selling some goods or services. And then there should be competition between either between the buyers and buyers, or between the sellers and sellers. So there should be some kind of competition. The competition can exist either among the sellers of the goods, or it may exist among the buyers of the goods. So in any situation, there should be some competition. Next is, what are the different types of market? So we have four types of market that we have to cover as per our syllabus. So first of all, the first type of market is the perfect competition market. So what is perfect competition? Perfect competition is a form of market. It is a form of market where there are large number of buyers and sellers operating in the market, right? Perfect competition is a form of market where there are large number of buyers and sellers operating in the market. Next is, all the sellers and buyer are selling the homogeneous products, and price in this market is determined by the market forces, and every seller have to charge the same price. All right. Then under such a market situation, an individual buyer and seller cannot influence the market, market demand and market supply. All right. Is this clear, Steve?
Yes, sir.
I think all of this you have already covered. I have explained this in the first class of this chapter, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so can you tell me few characteristic of the perfect competition, if you are able to recall?
There is a large number of buyers and sellers.
That is correct. One of
Data
the
it has homogeneous products.
that they sell homogeneous product. Perfect, very good. Okay, so first characteristic is that there are large number of buyers and sellers in the market. After this, there are the product that sellers and buyers are selling is of homogeneous nature. What is homogeneous product, Steve?
Homogeneous products are
Those products which are similar with each other in respect of everything. Either you compare the goods in terms of size, weight, color, and shape, you will find that goods are exactly same with each other.
yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Because the product that seller is selling in the market is exactly same as compared to the product that other seller is selling. Therefore, firms have to charge same price. They have no control over the price of the commodity. Now, there is no advertising cost in this market. There is no advertisement cost, because advertisement makes the goods more expensive, and because when the goods become more expensive, it will be impossible for the buyer to buy the goods at the higher price. Therefore, it is presumed that seller will be selling their product at the same price, and he will not be incurring any expense on the advertisement. All right.
Yes,
After
sir.
this, it is also presumed that there is no change in the price of the commodity by the firm. There is no, okay, we have already done this. Then one of the characteristic of the perfect competition is that the buyers and sellers operating in the market have perfect knowledge about the market. They have full 100% knowledge about the market. Buyer and seller possess complete knowledge about the market price and at which goods are being bought and sold in the market. And because every consumer have full idea about the market situation, therefore seller cannot discriminate with the consumer by charging different price from different customers and realizing abnormal amount of profit. Then freedom of entry and exit. Firms are free to enter in the market, and they are also free to exit from the market whenever they want to. There is no restriction neither on the entry of the firm in the market, nor when the firm wants to leave the market. All right, so firm can leave the market anytime, enter the market anytime, whenever they wish. Then there is absence of transportation cost. There is no transport cost involved in the market. This is one of the assumption. Then we did this in the last class, that firms are considered as the price taker in this market. Firms are considered as the price taker. What is a price taker firm? Price taker basically means a firm who does not have the authority to decide the price of the commodity on their own. They will have to accept the price which is determined by the market forces. Market will fix the price, market will determine the price, and this price will have to be accepted by the individual firm. All right, then after this we have understood the demand curve of the perfect competition firm operating in the perfect competition. So demand curve in the perfect competition is a parallel to x-axis. So firm operating in the perfect competition always have the straight line parallel to x-axis demand curve. Tell me, is this clear, Steve?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So all of these things we have done in the last class. Okay.
Yes, sir. Understood.
So because nobody have joined yet, so let's not start any new topic. Just tell me your doubt from any topic. I'll be clearing the doubt only, because if we start a new topic, then others will other will be left behind, and I'll have to teach them again. So I want you to ask doubts only in today's class. So you have any special doubt from any specific topic, Steve? Yes or no?
Sir, I have some like in statistics. Can you say all the main numericals?
You have doubt in the numerical part of the statistics.
Yeah.
And that is from which topic?
I mean, which is the like most important numeric, like in main medium or like which will come more recently in Excel.
But mean median mode is your first term syllabus. No, you have already completed your first term syllabus. Then why do you want to again study those topics?
Okay, sir.
Okay, let's do one thing. Let's start the topic. Let's start a new topic. Just a minute. So we will be starting a topic which is called the monopoly. All right, see?
Yes.
Okay. So do you have any idea what is monopoly market? Any idea if you have ever heard of monopoly market?
Market that is controlled by a single person.
Sorry?
A market that is controlled by a single person.
Sorry, I'm not able to hear you. Can you speak aloud?
A market that is controlled by a single person.
Perfect. A market which is controlled by a single person is a monopoly market. Very good. Right. Very well explained. Now, let me explain this in detail. Monopoly market. What is a monopoly? You are able to see this screen where I'm writing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So what is monopoly? Monopoly is also, it is a form of market. It is a type of market, right? It is a form of market. All right. Which kind of market it is? It is a form of market where there is only single seller in the market. Single seller. Single seller of what's a single seller of a particular product. There is single seller in the market. And large number of buyers will be there. Buyers are so large number of buyers are there, but seller is only one. And the product that this seller is selling is a unique product. It is a unique product that seller is selling in this market, and this product have no close substitute available in the market. No close substitute available in the market. Substitutes available in the market. That means no other product can replace this product. No other product can replace available in market. And okay, so it is a form of market. There are large number, there is only single seller, but large number of buyers. The product that seller is selling is so unique that no close substitute is available in the market. No product can compete with this product. And because there is only single seller, therefore we say that this seller have 100% share, 100% control in the market. 100% control over the market share, control of the market share. Just 100% control of the market share. He have the full control. He have the 100% shareholding in the market. Correct. And because he have 100% control in the market, therefore he will be having full control over the price of the commodity. Price of commodity. On price of commodity, the seller have the full control, will have the full control. and he will be deciding the price of the commodity. He will be deciding at what price he should sell the commodity. Getting my point? Because he have the 100% control, he have the 100% shareholding of the market. Therefore, he can himself decide the price of the commodity. He is not dependent upon the market to determine the price of the good. He can decide the price of the good on his own. Getting my point, Steve? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
What are the things I have told you? That first of all, monopoly is what? Monopoly is a form of market.
My single seller and a larger number of buyers. It has unique products, and he can make a price his own price of commodity without hesitating with the market.
Correct. Without relying upon the market. He does not have to rely upon the market for the determination of the price of the commodity. He can fix the price of the commodity on his own. All right. Now let's now discuss more about monopoly through the PowerPoint. So first of all, let's start with the meaning. What is a monopoly market? Just a minute. The definition. Okay. I think I haven't added the slide of the definition. Just a minute. Give me a moment. Let me make some changes in this slide. Okay. So first of all, what is market? What is monopoly market? It refers to a market situation wherein there is only a single seller in the market, and the product that he is selling has no close substitute available in the market. The demand curve of the monopolistic firm is downward sloping, which indicate that even a monopolist firm has to reduce the price of the commodity in order to sell more quantity of the commodity. All right. Now, because there is no other firms operating in the market, therefore firm is itself called industry. See, generally, in order to call, see, let me explain you. See, when you talk about industry, so industry always include more than one firm. So let's say it is an automobile industry. Let's say it is an automobile industry. So this automobile industry must be having more than one company dealing in the automobile sector. So this automobile industry is consist of this company Jaguar, then Mercedes, then BMW, Tata, all right, Hyundai, Honda, Suzuki. All of these firms are collectively called, all of these firms, Tata and all of these firms, Tata, Hyundai, Jaguar, Mercedes, BMW, Honda, and Suzuki are collectively known as what? These firms are collectively known as automobile industry, right? Because so in case of automobile industry, there are so many firms operating in the market, right? There are so many firms operating in the market in case of automobile industry. So therefore, all the firms are collectively called industry. Now, when you talk about perfect competition, in case of perfect competition, how many sellers? Sorry, not the perfect competition. When you talk about the monopoly market, how many sellers are there in the monopoly market? Only one seller. Correct. In the monopoly market, there is only one seller. Because there is no other seller in this market, so this firm, this seller or the firm itself will be known as the industry. Is firm in the monopoly market is itself known as the industry. Generally, industry consists of two or more firms, but because in case of monopoly, there is only single seller that operates in the market, therefore Therefore, firm is itself known as industry. Is this clear, Steve?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Next. What are the features of monopoly market? First of all, there is only one seller in the market. This is one of the feature of the monopoly market, that there is only one seller, but large number of buyers. Buyers are so large that you won't be able to exactly count the number of buyers in the market, but seller is only one. There is only one seller and large number of buyers in the market. This is one of the characteristics. And because there is only one seller, therefore this seller will be having 100% control of the entire market share, right? Okay. Now, there is one more important characteristic about the monopoly market, is that there are restriction on entry and exit. No firm can just enter the market, and no firm will be able to leave the market on its own. There are restriction on entry and exit of the firm from the market. Is this clear? Firm will have
Yes,
the restrictions. Now, what are the restrictions? Let's talk about restrictions. So let's say if it is a monopoly market, and let's say there is only one seller who is operating in the market. Let's say this is the seller who is operating in the market. This is a monopoly market, right? Monopoly market. Now see, let's say there are other sellers who are willing to enter this market, but there are certain restriction on entry. They cannot just enter the market whenever they wish to enter. There are certain restrictions, and because of this, these restrictions are so stiff that they won't be able to enter the market. Getting my point? And therefore, because there are restrictions, there will be only one seller in the market. Because of the restriction, because there are certain restrictions due to which other sellers are not able to enter the market, therefore, in the monopoly market, there will be only one seller. So there are restriction on entry. There will be restriction on entry in the market. This is the one of the problem with the monopoly market. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Now the question arises, what kind of restriction will be there? So restriction will be there by applying license requirement. Government or some authority may ask you for the license, and if you do not have the license, you won't be able to enter this market. So this is one kind of restriction that restrict the sellers to enter the market. Then there can be a possibility, there would be a problem of capital. Let's say in order to enter this market, huge amount of capital is required, and no among these sellers, no one is able to afford or contribute this much of capital in the business. So capital is one of the major problem that restrict the sellers to enter the market. Or there can be other reasons, like in order to enter the market, you need patent right, or you need some kind of copyright or other stuffs. Copyright or other thing. All right. So because of these are considered as the restriction to enter the market. These are the restriction. You just cannot enter these market due to these restrictions. You need some kind of license. Let's say you want to enter the automobile industry, or you want to enter the telecom industry. Getting my point? So in that case, you will be requiring the permission from the TRAI, Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. So because you will be requiring the license or the permission from the government, therefore you are not able to enter the market unless and until license is approved. So this basically a kind of restriction that leads to a situation of monopoly in the market. All right. Now, so we have understood that there are certain restriction on entry. Similarly, this firm cannot enter on its own. There are certain restriction on the exit as well. And this firm cannot walk out of the market anytime whenever this firm wishes to exit the market. In fact, in order to exit this market, he will have to comply with so many rules and regulations. He will have to follow or comply with rules and regulation. Unless and until this firm will not be allowed to leave this market. Getting my point? So basically, all in all, there are restrictions even on the entry and exit. Sellers are not entitled to enter the market, neither they are free to exit the market anytime they wish. Is this clear, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, only Steve is attending the class. All right, Steve. So let's move to the next characteristic. Next is the product that that seller is selling in this market is so unique that no other seller is selling such kind of product. No other seller is able to sell this product because of the uniqueness of the product. The product that firm is selling in this market is so unique that it does not have any close substitute available in the market. Seller, the kind of product that seller is selling is unique, and there is no other product who can match the standard of this product which seller is selling in the market. And therefore we say the product have no close substitute available in the market. Getting my point, Steve? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let's move to the next characteristic, that is control over price of the commodity. Because in this market, there is only one seller. That means he have entire market share in his hand, right? Because there is one seller only, therefore he will have the entire control in the market, entire market share in his hand. And because he have the entire market share in his hand, therefore we can say that he will be controlling the price on his own. He will be deciding at what price he should sell the goods and at what price he should not. So there will be no other authority or no other entity who will be deciding the price of the commodity for the product which will be sold by the seller. In fact, the seller will be the one who will be deciding the price of the commodity only. Therefore, we see that seller have the full control over the price of the commodity. Is this okay, Steve?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now because there is only one seller in the market, therefore he can take the advantage of this position. He can basically discriminate between the various consumers. Getting my point? Discrimination can be done by the seller taking advantage of his position in the market, because seller is well aware about his monopoly situation. He is well aware that he is the only seller who is selling the kind of product that he is selling, because he is already available, basically, what do we say? He is already aware about the monopolist position of his. Therefore, he can charge different prices from different customers also. So basically, he is in a position to discriminate among different buyers on the basis of the price of the commodity. That is what we say the power of discrimination with the monopolist firm, right? So in case of monopoly, seller will have the authority to discriminate among different consumer on the basis of the price.
Yes,
Is this clear, Steve?
yes, sir. Yes, understood.
Okay. Okay, before moving forward, can you just tell me what are the various features I have told you about the monopoly market?
In monopoly market, the seller is the only person, and he can discriminate, and he have unique products.
Mhm. Mhm.
Unique products. He can do.
There is only one seller, correct? The price, there is one seller, and because there is only one seller, he will have the full control over the price of the commodity, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Third thing is that the product that he is selling has no close substitute available in the market, right?
Yes, sir.
Because he's selling the unique product, therefore he can also discriminate among the different customers on the basis of price. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So all of these are the features of the monopolist firm or monopoly market that we did, that restriction on the entry and exit in the market. No
Like,
firm will be allowed
uh,
to enter the market subject to certain restrictions,
license, etc.
license, permission, and
etc.
patent right, copyright, and other factors, other requirements, capital. All right. Now let's talk about the demand curve of the monopoly. So you must remember that while we were discussing the perfect competition, I've told you that in case of perfect competition, firms have an individual firm always have the perfectly elastic demand curve. That is demand curve parallel to x-axis, right? In case of perfect competition, firm will always have the parallel to axis demand curve. Is this clear, Steve? In case
Yes,
of
sir.
perfect competition, firms have parallel to x-axis demand curve that is called perfectly elastic demand curve. That basically means that in case of perfect competition, any seller can sell any number of quantity at the same price. He is not required to reduce the price of the commodity in order to sell more quantity of the commodity. He is not required to sell. He is not required to reduce the price of the commodity in order to sell more quantity of the commodity. Because every seller is selling at the same price, therefore he can also sell sell his product at the same price. But in case of monopoly, you know what? In case of monopoly, can you guess which kind of demand curve will be there? It will be parallel to x-axis, vertical to x-axis, downward sloping, upward sloping. Which kind of demand curve will be there in case of monopoly market? See.
It is.
Yes, please tell me.
It's parallel to x-axis.
It will be parallel to x-axis, same as the perfect competition. In case of perfect competition, no. The demand curve is parallel to x-axis.
No, sir.
In case of perfect competition, demand curve is parallel to x-axis. But in case of monopoly, it is not parallel to x-axis. It will be downward sloping. You know what is the meaning of downward sloping demand curve? It means that even the seller in this type of market have full control over the price of the commodity, but still, if he is willing to sell more quantity of the commodity, he will have to reduce the price of the commodity to attract more customers. As we have already learned about the relationship between the price and demand, there is negative relationship between the price and demand of the commodity, right? As price increases, demand decreases. When price decreases, demand will increase. So keeping this factor in mind, just keep this in mind that monopoly firm also follows the same rule. If the monopoly firm wants to sell more quantity of the commodity, this firm will have to reduce the price of the commodity. Therefore, when you will draw the diagram for the demand, you will draw the diagram of the demand curve for the monopoly firm, you will notice that demand curve of the monopolist firm is downward sloping curve. Is this correct? Is this clear?
Yes.
Let me show you how it will be formed. This kind of curve you will see in case of perfect competition. So let's say this is the y-axis This is the x-axis. So in case of monopoly, demand curve will be something like this. It will be something like this. This is called downward sloping demand curve. So this means that if this seller is selling the product, let's say if at rupees 10, he's selling, let's say this number of quantity, he was selling 100 units of the commodity, right? Now, if he wants to sell more units of the commodity, let's say he wants to sell 200 units of the commodity, and then he will have to reduce the price of the commodity. He will have to reduce the price of the commodity. Let's say he will have to reduce the commodity price from 10 to 4. Only then he will be able to sell more quantity of the commodity. This shows that even in case of monopoly market, in order to sell more quantity, seller will have to reduce the price of the commodity. This shows that a monopoly firm has downward sloping demand curve, and this curve is known as less elastic demand curve or relatively inelastic demand curve or less than unitary elastic demand curve. Less than unitary elastic demand curve. Is this clear, Steve?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is all about the monopoly. So until now, we have discussed the meaning of the monopoly. Then we have discussed the various features of the monopoly. So with this, the monopoly market ends here. Now, we will be discussing about monopolistic competition, but as no one else has joined today, so we will be discussing about the monopolistic market in the next class only. So now we will be taking a break for around 10 minutes and we will continue with our account session. Is it okay, Steve?
Yes, sir.
So if you wish to wait here, you can wait. I'm leaving the session now. I'll be joining again after 10 minutes.
Okay, sir.